This essay is about my next trip to Myanmar. It used to be called Burma. When I came back the first time, I had a appointment with my cardiologist within a couple days of returning. Walked into Dr. Marchand's office. He checked me out. Said, "You're all right. You can get out of here unless you have any questions." And I did. And I said, "I want to know why I'm so wound up, why I'm so wired." And he knew I was serious. And he paused, looked into my eyes until he was sure that my eyes and his eyes were linked. And then he said, "You have seen the light." I've written about this and told everybody. Essentially what he was saying is, Campbell, you had an experience. Something happened to you in that country that changed you. And it's true. I played Scrabble with a 9-year-old. And that 9-year-old is a link from her family to my family. TT and her 2 younger sisters and her parents are a part of my family. And that occurred 5 years ago. Last year, just about this time, I was getting ready to go back to Myanmar for the second time. And I spent a lot of time with my family again. Before I left them, I said, "I'll be back in 3 or 4 years." Then it went down to 3 years, then it went down to 2 years. And it's been a year since I've seen them, so next winter break from teaching, I'll return. I'll return with $500,000 of laptop computers, and hopefully improved internet access to the 2 schools where my 3 grandchildren attend. But there are 6 other people that I want to return with me in just over a year. And this essay is about the 6. And when we link up the 6 and include myself, now we have what I call the Magnificent 7. And what's interesting about the Magnificent 7 is that age-wise, they're all different. Racially, they're all different. There's a woman in the group. Nationalities are different. Professions are different. But each one of them has a common thread that is interwoven between all of us. And that is being driven to help others. And I'm in the negotiating process to find out whether all those 7 people, or 6 people, I'm surely going, whether 6 people are going to go with me. I know one of them will be going with me. And you can read about Sandy in the essay, but you can also read about the others. All of them have different professions, but they have a single overriding interest in helping other people. Half the people I know personally, The other half of the people I've never met, but I follow them all the time. And so this essay is about, it's about the forming of the Magnificent Seven. So, and I have to be careful about my excitement about things. 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, in 2008, I danced with death twice. Cracked my head open, subdural hematoma, traumatic brain injury, and then I also had prostate cancer that had gotten out of the prostate. I would never want to go through either one of those experiences again, but I would never delete them from my life, because it woke me up to the realization that my clock is ticking. Go to the articles index page and look on the right-hand side. Scroll down and you'll see Randy Posh's last lecture. I'd done the dances with death twice, and it just kind of floated over my head. I didn't realize what had happened. That lecture lasted an hour and 16 minutes and 37 seconds. Can you imagine the number of hours that I have sat listening to lectures in college, grad school, and postgraduate school? And the last 20 or some years, can you imagine the number of lectures I have given? But that single lecture was the best lecture I've ever heard or I have ever given. And now I got it. And I had to be careful about talking about that. People can write it off, and the camera was just wound up. I am wound up because of that. But if I was wound up because of Dancing with Death successfully, I'm far more wound up about this. Trying to get a hold of $500,000 to get laptops for 1,250 kids who go to school with my grandchildren, who are part of my extended family. One of the people is Rod Stewart. I'm trying to come back with me. In fact, I want him to have a couple concerts in Yangon, go up to Mandalay, and then come up to Tangier, where my family is, and have a couple concerts. But he sang a song, covered a song, and there's two lines in the middle of the song. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. And I am happy. And I believe that the six that hopefully will go back with me will be equally happy. But you can also come back with me. I can't guarantee you that you will meet a family like my family, but you might. And this is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. One of the people I'm asking to come back with me is Clarence Page, who writes a column in the Chicago Tribune. And I mentioned this in the essay. I mentioned it in the video that I did for Clarence Page that I don't think he's seen yet. But 3 or 4 years ago, I was writing an article right here. And I'd heard or read something, where he quoted him, I heard Page say something about something he'd written, and I remember reading the article, but it had been several weeks prior, and I couldn't find it. So I went to the Tribune's webpage, clicked on Clarence Page, and what popped up, along with his op-ed columns, a video that preceded the column. And what he was doing is saying, my name's Clarence Page, and I'm writing about this, and I want you to think about this. And I thought to myself, why didn't I think of that? There's a the written word is two-dimensional. But if you can morph the spoken word and your face connected to the essay or the article that you wrote, it gives it dimensionality. Tell me that I'm not driven. This is not some goofy little game I'm playing. I've done the dance with death. My clock is ticking. And what I am about to do is the single most important thing I have done in my entire life or will ever do. To help 1,250 kids in a developing country that isn't as rich as America. And the only means of helping them survive in this, the 21st century, is to get them the best education possible. And there's no other way to do it other than on the internet. You can't make up for all the years of the past. But you can help them, get them a laptop, let them connect with each other and throughout the world and pick up news and information and research, and just go on and on and on. But they don't have laptops. And the internet service. The internet service has to improve. And if the people of Myanmar want to have a great life in the rest of this century, they have to educate the next generation as they move up through school and out into the world. And I have met some of them. Not just my family, but other people in Myanmar. I am driven. And I hope that you can help me help them. So thank you for this, for you listening to this long introduction. Clarence Page would never have done this. He would say, cut it, make it short and to the point. And my problem, Clarence, is that once I get started, it's hard for me to stop. But that is an illustration of how driven I am. So thank you again. during winter break next year, I'm going back with laptops and having improved the internet access. And you can help me. You can also help me by letting other people who you know, in other words, networking with them, so they can read this essay or read any of the essays that I have about We Were Family on my webpage. Okay, so I'm asking you for money, and I'm asking you to send 10 or 15 or 20 friends of yours information about linking up with my webpage. But I'm also asking you to consider going back with me to Myanmar. It changed my life, and it might change yours. Take care.